Hey, welcome back. We're blessed this morning to have a couple of authors with us, Gwendolyn Hooks and Darlene Bailey Beard.
Correct.
All right, welcome to Stillwater.
Thank
I
you.
take it you both are from the Oklahoma City, Norman area?
Correct.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. You've got a stack of books with you.
Well, I have four because they're in a series.
Okay.
It's called the Pet Club series, and it's about four kids, two boys, two girls. Each have their own pet. There's a dog, a cat, a rat, and a fish. And they have their own adventures, and when one gets in trouble, they call their friends, so the Pet Club comes to the rescue.
And about what age group are they targeted at?
First and second grade readers.
Okay, and that's the age of the kids in the books, basically?
Yes, they're in second grade.
Okay. And your book is about?
Well, it's called Annie Glover is Not a Tree Lover.
Okay.
Here it is.
Okay.
And it's based on a true story. And I got the idea, one day I was reading the newspaper, and there was a picture of a lady chained to a tree. And it happened to be here in Stillwater. And she was wanting to protect this tree to keep it from being bulldozed for a parking lot. And I saw that picture and immediately knew, oh, this is perfect. I've got to write about this thing. Well, since I write for children, I wanted to tell it from a child's point of view. And so I tell it from a little girl named Annie Glover, who is a fourth grader. And I've made the woman chained to the tree to be her grandmother.
Okay.
And so it's a funny story. It also has three flying, parachuting Elvis impersonators in it. And I got the idea from that from a picture that I had seen in the newspaper. So I had the two pictures, the lady chained to the tree, the three flying Elvises. I put them together, and that's how I created the book.
Okay, so yours is targeted toward children too, a little older than
Uh-huh.
first, second grade, so.
Yeah, mine is what's called a chapter book. So it's about second through fourth or fifth grade reading levels.
Okay, okay. And Gwendolyn, on yours now, you've got the series of four that are
Yes.
available now. And each one of those, I guess, how did you come up with the storyline?
Well, the editor that I worked with wanted to have four books in a series and somehow have it involve pets. And I just got out my paper and pencil and started jotting down ideas. And since she wanted four books, I said, well, I'll just have four characters. And even though all appear in each book, I'd focus on one for each individual book.
Oh,
And
okay.
just kind of thought back about my kids when they were younger and some of the problems that they had with their pets and used those things in the book.
So the same characters appear throughout your series then?
Yes, they do.
Wow, that's kind of a neat deal. And now, did they come out one a month, or how were they released?
I had to write them all at one time, within one time period, and they all came out in August together.
Okay.
And the editor was pleased with them and asked me to write four more. So next January, February, I'll have four more, same characters but different situations.
Oh, okay. And they'll all be released at the same time once again?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about the books and
Okay.
possibly where we can find them online or maybe even locally. We'll see. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Hey, welcome back with Gwendolyn Hooks and Darlene Bailey Beard here talking. There are authors of the month, and during the break we were talking a little bit about a support group. You know, a lot of writers maybe don't know how to get started, but you've got a support group that kind of helps critique. Tell us a little bit about that.
There's four of us, and we try to meet very regularly, maybe once a month at someone's house, and we bring what we're working on at that particular time. Each person reads it, throws out comments. We call it slicing and dicing. So you will go home with something different, but it's always better. And we've gotten to the point where we always email, call, and let someone else read our stuff before we send it out, because your eyes just don't work on your own stuff. You need someone else to read it to make it a lot better.
And that's helpful, I take it
Oh,
then.
yes, yes. I don't want to send anything to a publisher unless Gwen's read it first,
Uh-huh.
or my other critique members. And we help each other so very much. I don't know how I would do this without my critique group.
So how did you get hooked up with publishers? Is this something you just send out to dozens, or?
Well, there's a lot of writers' conferences. There's a national group called the Society of Children's Book Writers,
Mhm.
and they have, in the spring, we have a conference, And in the fall, we have a hands-on writing workshop. And we fly in editors and agents from New York and California for these conferences. So we meet them that way. Also, there's a great book called The Children's Writers Market. And it's a great resource for anyone who wants to write books for children. And it lists the names of all the publishers, what they're looking for, what they're not looking for, gives tidbits on payment and where to send your work, who to send it to, and that's real helpful too.
Yeah.
Yes. And another source is the organization Darlene was talking about, the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. They also publish a magazine called The Bulletin every 2 months. And the way I got started is I saw a little notice in there. A certain publisher was looking for some easy readers and asked you to submit manuscripts. And I sent maybe 5 before they picked up one, and that was my first book.
Oh.
So that's another way you can reach publishers, is looking at what they're asking to be sent in.
And you'll probably get quite a bit of rejection before you get
Oh, yes.
the acceptance, right?
You still get rejections.
Uh-huh.
You just have to read them, feel sad for a couple of days, and then move on.
A lot of people think you're published, that everything you write is then going to be sold, and it's not that way. I get rejections a lot, and a lot of us authors, we joke that we have enough rejections to wallpaper our bathroom, and that is so very true.
Yes.
So very true.
Now you said that if you set up author visits, not just for this show, but for the schools or libraries.
Oh yes, I do a lot of speaking. Gwen does too. We speak in schools, universities, writing conferences, panels, showcases, book fairs, book clubs, library association meetings. We do a lot of speaking in schools.
So with your books, how do we get them? If Hastings here in Stillwater doesn't have them, I don't know whether they have them or not.
Oh, they could certainly order them for someone if they wanted them. You can find them on Amazon, and almost any independent bookseller would be happy to order them for you, or the big chains too,
Okay.
if they're not readily available.
And then do you each have a website or a common website or?
Yes, we have both.
Okay.
We each have our own, and then there's also a new site called OklahomaChildren'sAuthors.com.
Oh, okay.
OklahomaChildren'sAuthors.com, and on that site, people will find a lot of Oklahoma authors, information about how to contact us, about our books, biographies, photos, all sorts of research information for the kids who are doing reports on their favorite authors. And then I have a website, and it's just my name, Darlene Bailey Beard, and add .com, and that'll take you right to my site.
Okay. Once again, Annie Glover is not a tree lover. That's a Stillwater-based story, basically. So now, you don't call the city Stillwater in the book,
No, in my book I call it Bentley, but it's based on the true story of this lady in Stillwater who did chain herself to a tree, and she was wanting to protect 6 trees to keep them from being bulldozed. And I don't want to tell you how it ends, because I want you guys to read the book. Then you'll find out what happened.
And then your books are, once again, the name of them and...
The Best Trick, Find the Cat, The Noisy Night, Pets at the Party.
All right.
And my website is GwendolynHooks.com.
All right. So both of your names and then .com, so
That's
that
it.
works. Well, we appreciate y'all coming up to Stillwater and visiting with us this morning.
Oh, thank you.
You bet. Hey, Casey's going to come back, join me, and we're going to talk about the 7-day forecast in just a minute. Stay tuned.